I've been thinking a lot about how business owners use their money, about how they even get the money to begin with. And I've asked myself, how should we wisely use the money that we've made to the best of our abilities, especially when it comes to impact? How can we best impact people's lives for good with what we've been blessed with? Money is obviously more than a hot topic. Everyone seems to want it, we obsess over it, and some people wreck their entire life for it. But why? Do we really even know what to do with it when we get it? I thought I knew why I wanted to become a millionaire when I was young, but when the money started pouring in, I found myself pointlessly wasting it. It's funny, because we think money will solve all of our problems, but many times it creates more problems. Did you know that around 70% of lottery winners end up broke within 7 years, and a number of them even die tragic deaths not long after winning? And many of their family relationships and friendships get destroyed in the process. Winning the lottery for many people is so bad that a lot of winners say they would have been better off broke, and they wish they never would have won to begin with. That's crazy. But we know that there are many millionaires out there who seem to be doing just fine, especially when it comes to successful business owners. So why don't they suffer the same tragic fates as these lottery winners? I believe one big reason is because these lottery winners aren't prepared for all that money. They go from so little to so much so suddenly. They don't know how to properly handle all the newfound wealth. In other words, they didn't know how to be good stewards of the money. And that's really what the point of our conversation is about: stewardship. I believe many business owners usually start out as disciplined individuals who have a lot of vision to begin with. They know what their goals are and what they need to use money for before they get it. And they build wealth over time, learning valuable lessons along the way about how to handle money properly. But even so, many wealthy businessmen can still go bankrupt from bad business decisions. Some even commit suicide, or they lose their families, and they suffer a lot of the same tragedies as lottery winners. So when it comes to money, discipline and wisdom are important, but even so, money can still cause lots of hardship because even disciplined and intelligent businessmen have still not learned how to become good stewards of their money and their businesses. So what do I mean when I say good stewards or use the term stewardship? Well, the ancient Greek word for steward is epitropos, which means a guardian or a curator, like someone who keeps and protects priceless art in a museum. Epitropos also means overseer or a manager of households or lands, and it can even mean a protector or caregiver for someone else's children. So a steward is a trustworthy person who guards and takes care of the most valuable things for someone else. So you might be saying, but Brett, I'm not taking care of someone else's business. I'm taking care of my own business. Well, in one sense, that's true. But in another sense, that is incredibly wrong. That could actually be a very dangerous mindset to have. When we are taking care of something for an overseer or an employer, we're accountable to that person and typically will take more care to guard or protect what they've entrusted us with. But when we are responsible for something ourselves, sometimes we can get lazy and selfish and end up squandering what has been entrusted to us. I use this example in my own real estate business. There have been several people that have invested into our business or have lent our business their hard-earned money. And guess what? I care way more about their money and giving them back their money plus interest than I care about my own money. I strive to be a great steward of their money. So what am I saying? Am I saying that we should just pretend like someone else owns our business and money? No, not at all. There's no need to pretend. In all actuality, God has given us or allowed us to have everything that we own. And we should be accountable to Him for our money and our businesses. Now you may say, Brett, wait a minute, come on. I worked hard all by myself to start and grow my business. I put in all the extra hours to turn a profit. I earned all the money that I have myself. Well, again, there's a little truth in that. Many times God doesn't just magically drop money into our laps. He expects us to work hard and put our hand to the plow. But even a farmer who toils in the hot sun, plowing and planting seed, watering and tending his crops, he works incredibly hard but still has no power to make those plants grow. He can only hope to work hard enough and to care for them to help create the right environment for them, but he still has to trust that God will make them grow. So to you successful business owners out there, I would ask, do you think that you became successful all by yourself? Let's think about that. Take me for example. I bought my first home for $9,000. I had a random idea that I could turn a profit on this home. I took the risk. I got someone to pitch the money in with me. I did the hard work to clean it up. I did all the buying and the selling. That's true. I'm proud of that very first deal, and I believe God wants us to take joy in our hard work, and our hard work will pay off. But consider this. I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't know anything about how bad the market was for real estate during the time I started my business. I didn't know exactly how bad a shape the house I bought was actually in. I was lucky that my dad chose to help invest in my company starting out. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do it. There were so many things I didn't know and I couldn't control, and I could have easily failed from the start. But somehow God blessed me enough to make a profit and gave me wisdom to start building a business from the first seed planted. For those of you who don't believe in God, you might just call it dumb luck. But either way, I could have failed just as easily as I succeeded. And I could still fail at any point just as easily as I could succeed. Actually, it's easier to fail than to succeed. If you're an entrepreneur, you know that we analyze and strategize and do everything we can to grow and to profit. But you also know that there are too many things out of our control, whether it's a swing in the market we're in, or other markets that affect ours, or employee issues, or tax laws changing. There are so many risks involved that are way out of our control. Take the real estate market from 2008.
So Apple shares are just getting hammered this morning.
We're down by between 3 and 4.5% generally across these markets. Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate.
I am surrounded by entrepreneurs that talk about 2008, where they lost everything. They were super successful up until that point, but something happened out of their control and completely wiped them out. As an entrepreneur, you understand risk, and risk means things are out of our control. And out of our control means God is ultimately in control, and He can allow us to succeed or to fail. If we understand there is a higher power than us that can help us succeed, I believe it's one of the best mindsets we can take on. Not only can you find yourself more accountable, but it can also bring some relief. If you realize that the business isn't just your business, but God's business, and He is also responsible in some ways, you can take some of the pressure off of yourself. It's not always about me failing if I mess up, because we always mess up. But it's about me doing my best along the way, always trying to learn, always trying to improve, but trusting God to take care of the rest. Psalm 127 says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so He gives His beloved sleep." I can try my hardest in my own strength to accomplish things, just to watch it all crumble away. Many entrepreneurs have that story they can attest to. They had it all and then lost everything. That could easily be any one of us. Jesus told a parable about a foolish rich man like this. He said a rich man had a fertile farm that produced fine crops. He said to himself, "What should I do? I don't have room for all of my crops." And then he said, "I know, I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll have room enough to store all of my wheat and other goods. And I'll sit back and say to myself, 'My friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. Now take it easy, eat, drink, and be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, you will die this very night. Then who will get everything you worked for?' Yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with God." I think many entrepreneurs are like this foolish rich man. I know that I've been that man at one time in my life, and I still struggle with it today. We think, wow, I'm making so much money. I don't even know what to do with it all. And then we make bigger goals just to make more money when we still don't know what to do with it. We're so focused on being greedy for more, and we don't even know why. We just keep running like a hamster on that wheel until we collapse. And then what? We can't take any of that money we made with us. So what was it all for? Once we learn to trust God and recognize that we are accountable to Him as His steward, He will show us what to do with the money. So you might be asking, okay, I'm a steward, now what? What does He require of me? There are a lot of lessons God instructs us on how to use our money and to be a good steward. But a good first step is found just shortly after Jesus told this parable. He said, "Give to those in need. This will store up treasure for you in heaven, and the purses of heaven never get old or develop holes. Your treasure will be safe where no thief can steal it and no moth can destroy it." That's very encouraging to hear. I can store up wealth somewhere that will never be lost. And what was the instruction? Give to those in need. I know what you're thinking. Brett, everyone is in need. Everyone wants a handout. Or maybe you're thinking, you want me to just give lots of money to a homeless drug addict who's going to squander it on drugs? No, I don't want you to do that at all. I think that would probably be a foolish decision. I think a good steward would carefully consider who to give to, how much he should give, and what the money will be used for. That sounds like good stewardship to me. So let's briefly unpack who exactly is in need. We could spend a lot of time on this subject, but I think one of the simplest and most straightforward things God instructs us throughout Scripture is to consider the widow and the orphan. Throughout most of history, women and children have depended on the husband and the father to provide for the family. So if he was gone, it was very hard for these people to defend themselves or provide for themselves, and they could be exploited easily. Consider the widow and the orphan and those who can't take care of themselves. Does that mean homeless drug addicts or alcoholics aren't in need? Of course they are. But there's a difference in someone trying to break out of a bad situation versus someone who chooses to stay in it. I'm not saying don't give to homeless addicts. There are some great organizations that have good models and success rates with that group of people. We can even post some of them in the description below in this video. But there are wise ways and unwise ways to give to all types of people in need. But to wisely give to those truly in need is a great first step of being a good steward. It doesn't have to be a handout either. There are many ways to help people looking for work to support themselves, maybe to start their own micro business or find ways to multiply what you give them. In any case, that is something you can reflect on yourself when you consider how to give. I know you're asking, how does giving money away help me in my business? Well, there are tax breaks involved and things like that you can take advantage of. But God says in Deuteronomy, "Give generously to the poor, not grudgingly, for the Lord your God will bless you in everything you do." God will bless you in your business as you are truly generous to those in need. Yes, you still need to work hard and be wise about how you run your business. But as you do your best, you will see favor come on you that you couldn't have gotten yourself. I can attest to that personally. So be a good steward. Ecclesiastes 6 says, God gives some people great wealth and honor and everything they could ever want. But then He doesn't give them the chance to enjoy these things. They die. And someone else, even a stranger, ends up enjoying their wealth. This is meaningless, a sickening tragedy. Will all of your striving for money and greed be for nothing in the end? Or will it have meant something that changed people's lives and caused great impact for all eternity?